Gun battles rage among inmates of Ecuador's largest prison as members of rival gangs clash. There are reports of explosions and a number of beheadings too. An out-of-control situation that has forced the government to respond. The Ecuadorian government will act. We must act. The first decision we've made is to declare a state of emergency in Ecuador's jail system. The families of inmates at the prison in Ecuador's largest city, Guayaquil, have been waiting anxiously for information on the fate of their loved ones. I'm very upset because my son is in the prison. It's been painful for me. There are many dead and many people have been wounded. I don't know if my son is okay or not. This is not the first time Ecuador has witnessed prison violence. In the past, there have been riots and deaths too. But the scale of the clashes this time is like no other in Ecuador's history. When we visit the prison, they search us thoroughly. They even make us undress. I don't know how all the weapons are getting in. Everyone inside is armed. Everyone. Corrupt prison guards have been blamed for allowing arms to enter the prison. One serious issue among many in an overcrowded and antiquated prison system that the President of Ecuador has pledged to overhaul.
Well, joining us from Quito is journalist Stefan Kufner. Stefan, it's good to have you on the program. I mean, the reports that we are getting are terrifying, and we understand they still don't know what is going on inside the prison. Are authorities in Ecuador, are they able to cope with this kind of violence?
Well, we see that it's very difficult for them to do this. And this is warfare between groups, organized gangs, and the government is something, or the prison administration system is something of a bystander that is clearly overwhelmed with the situation.
And we understand that this began with two rival gangs who were at war inside the prison. Why has this been allowed to fester and to happen?
Well, there's been a pattern of violence that has emerged from late November when the gang leader was murdered in the city of Manta, a shopping mall. Since then, a struggle between two rival gangs has triggered three major riots, one in February that killed about 80 prisoners, one somewhat smaller in July with 20, and now this even more horrific event. And this is not just an occurrence in Guayaquil at the penitentiary, but this has happened in other major prisons in the country, two others, in the country. So there has been a gradual escalation of this gang warfare. I mean, what we've basically got is the sourcing is, of course, a bit problematic, but it seems to be really the spillover of rival Mexican gangs in Ecuador for control of drug routes. And there have been, of course, negligence. There has been historic negligence of previous administrations in guaranteeing control of the prisons. Of course, in theory, the government is responsible for the livelihood of people it has jailed, and it's not been able to do so.
So, Stephen, are you saying then that what we're looking at is a situation with the drug cartels in Mexico having, reach all the way into Ecuador, into the prisons, and that would explain the smuggling of weapons and drugs into the prisons?
Yes, I mean, there's, on the one hand, there's a serious deficiency, of lack of guards that varies from prison to prison, but it's just a fraction of what guards should be. Well-trained guards should be in a prison, and the reality. So corruption on the one hand exists, even with serious government efforts to control the situation. which explains how these weapons and cell phones and other things that are prohibited can be put inside the prisons. The new prison director, who's just been in office for 2 days, yesterday said that there have been a number of searches, but it seems to be really that weapons have been bunkered deep inside, out of reach of normal investigations. And so that also explains part of how these things can happen over and over again. But finally, I think I would like to mention that prison officials have been murdered when they've tried to impose changes in the last few years. So there's a, to put it a little mildly, carrot and stick position by international drug cartels who are able to bribe, but also to murder officials if they don't comply with their wishes.
Yeah, it's a shocking story there. Stefan Kufner with the latest tonight from Quito. We appreciate your reporting, Stefan. Thank you.
Thank you very much.